We live in a world saturated with connection. Smartphones, social media, and instant communication tools promise constant contact. Yet loneliness is reaching epidemic levels, leaving many feeling isolated and unseen. This modern paradox begs the question, why are we so lonely when we've never been more connected? The answer is complex, a confluence of societal shifts, technological advancements, and our fundamental human needs. Our hyper-connected world often lacks the genuine face-to-face interactions that nourish our souls. The constant barrage of curated online lives creates a distorted sense of reality, leaving us feeling inadequate and alone in a sea of seemingly perfect connections. Technology, while connecting us globally, often undermines our local connections. Social media, designed to bring us closer, can fuel feelings of inadequacy and isolation. The carefully curated profiles we encounter present an unrealistic view of others' lives, leading to social comparison and feelings of loneliness. We spend hours scrolling through feeds, passively consuming content instead of actively engaging in meaningful conversations. Moreover, the ease of online communication can make us forget the value of face-to-face interaction. Text messages and emojis cannot replace the nuances of human expression, a shared laugh, a knowing glance, a comforting touch. These non-verbal cues are essential for building empathy and deepening our bonds. Beyond the digital realm, societal shifts have eroded traditional forms of community. People are moving more frequently, working longer hours, and spending less time engaging in their communities. This decline in social capital, the networks of relationships that provide support and a sense of belonging, contributes significantly to feelings of loneliness. The rise of individualism further exacerbates this issue. We are encouraged to prioritize our own needs and desires, often at the expense of community involvement. While self-care is essential, neglecting our social needs can lead to isolation and erode our sense of purpose. Loneliness is not merely an emotional state. It has profound implications for our physical and mental well-being. Research has linked chronic loneliness to a range of health problems, including heart disease, stroke, depression, anxiety, and even premature death. The health risks associated with chronic loneliness are comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness triggers a stress response in the body, leading to inflammation and impairing immune function. It can also disrupt sleep, increase blood pressure, and contribute to cognitive decline. The pervasive nature of loneliness makes it a pressing public health concern, demanding attention and effective interventions. Section 5, Wired for Connection, the Neurobiology of Loneliness.
Our brains are wired for connection. From the moment we are born, we seek out social interaction and rely on relationships for survival. When we experience social isolation, our brains interpret this as a threat, triggering the same fear and stress responses as physical danger. The hormone oxytocin, often referred to as the cuddle hormone, plays a crucial role in social bonding and stress reduction. When we experience physical touch, engage in meaningful conversations, or feel a sense of belonging, our brains release oxytocin, fostering feelings of trust, empathy, and connection. Conversely, loneliness depletes oxytocin levels, amplifying feelings of stress and isolation.
Section 6, The Language of Loneliness, Real Stories, Real Pain. To truly understand the impact of loneliness, we must listen to the stories of those living it. Behind the statistics and scientific data are real people grappling with the pain of isolation. Their experiences illuminate the multifaceted nature of loneliness and highlight the urgent need for connection. Let's explore the stories of two individuals, Sarah and John, from different generations and walks of life, both united by their struggle with loneliness. Their experiences reveal the common threads of this human condition and offer insights into its impact on our lives.
Section 7. Sarah's story, Lost in the Virtual World. Sarah, a 25-year-old graphic designer, thrives in the digital world. Her creativity and skills have earned her a respectable place in the online community. Her social media presence is carefully curated, projecting an image of success and fulfillment. Every post, every picture is meticulously planned to maintain this facade. Yet behind the perfectly filtered photos and witty captions lies a deep sense of isolation. The pressure to keep up appearances weighs heavily on her. Sarah spends hours each day scrolling through feeds, comparing herself to others and feeling increasingly inadequate. The constant comparison chips away at her self-esteem. Despite having thousands of online friends, Sarah struggles to make meaningful connections offline. The digital world, while vast, feels empty and unfulfilling. She longs for genuine conversations and shared experiences, but finds it difficult to break through the superficiality of online interactions. The virtual world feels like a barrier. The more time she spends online, the more disconnected she feels from the real world. The screen that once connected her to the world now feels like a wall, keeping her isolated.
John, a retired teacher in his late 70s, cherishes his memories of a life filled with family, friends, and community involvement. He often finds solace in flipping through old photo albums, each picture a portal to a time when his home was filled with laughter and love. However, as he's aged, John has experienced significant losses. The death of his beloved wife, declining health, and the gradual drifting apart of friends. These losses have left a void in his life that is hard to fill. He now finds himself spending most days alone, his once vibrant social life reduced to brief interactions with store clerks and neighbours. The park bench where he used to sit with friends now feels like a place of solitude. John tries to stay connected with his children and grandchildren who live in different states, but phone calls and occasional visits cannot replace the everyday companionship he craves. The digital connections, though helpful, often feel impersonal and insufficient. He misses the shared meals, the laughter, and the simple joy of being surrounded by loved ones. The empty dining table is a stark reminder of the vibrant gatherings that once filled his home. John's story highlights the devastating impact of social isolation on older adults, a growing demographic often overlooked in discussions about loneliness. The emotional toll of this isolation can be profound, affecting not just mental health but physical well-being as well.
While the prevalence of loneliness can feel overwhelming, there are evidence-based strategies we can implement to combat isolation and foster meaningful connections. These strategies involve both individual actions and societal shifts, requiring a collective effort to rebuild our social fabric.
On a personal level, prioritizing face-to-face interaction is crucial. This means putting down our phones, stepping away from screens, and engaging in activities that facilitate genuine connection. Joining a club, volunteering in our communities, or simply striking up conversations with strangers can help us rebuild our social muscles and create opportunities for meaningful interaction.
Addressing the loneliness epidemic also requires addressing its root causes. This includes creating supportive communities, promoting social inclusion, and fostering a culture that values authentic connection over online validation.
Schools, workplaces, and community organizations can play a vital role in facilitating social interaction and providing opportunities for people to connect with others who share their interests and values. We must also challenge the stigma associated with loneliness. Admitting we feel lonely can be difficult, often perceived as a sign of weakness or social inadequacy. By fostering open conversations about loneliness, we can create a more supportive environment where people feel comfortable seeking help and connecting with others.
Loneliness is a complex issue, but it's not insurmountable. It affects people of all ages and backgrounds, creeping into our lives in subtle ways. Yet, there is always a way to combat it. By understanding its causes, acknowledging its impact, and taking deliberate steps to reconnect, we can rebuild our social fabric and create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. Small acts of kindness, reaching out to a friend, or participating in community events can make a significant difference. The human need for connection is fundamental, and by nurturing our relationships and prioritizing genuine interaction, we can find hope and healing in the face of isolation. Sharing meals, celebrating together, and simply being present for one another are powerful ways to strengthen our bonds. Let us choose to bridge the divides, both digital and physical, and rediscover the profound power of human connection. Technology can be a tool to bring us closer, but we must use it mindfully to enhance, not replace, our real-world interactions. In a world that often feels isolating, It's our relationships that give life meaning and sustain us through challenges. Whether it's a shoulder to cry on or a hand to hold, these connections are our lifelines. Let's reach out, connect, and remind each other that we are not alone. Together, we can create a supportive network that uplifts and empowers every individual, fostering a sense of belonging and community.